My girlfriend made fun of intimate details about me in front of her friends, so I broke up with her. It began on a rain-slicked Friday evening in Briarwood, the kind of affluent suburb where secrets stayed behind closed doors until they exploded. My girlfriend, Alara, had told me earlier in the week she'd be going out for a girls' night to celebrate her best friend Lena's return from a long trip abroad. The plan sounded innocent enough. Dinner at the Golden Spoon, a trendy new bistro, followed by movies and endless conversation at one of their houses. The group was about 12 women strong, a tight-knit circle I'd grown to know well over the years. Among them was my older sister, Serafina, my housemate, my confidant, and, unexpectedly, one of Alara's closest friends. There was nothing in Alara's tone, nothing in her expression, to make me suspicious. She even stopped by our place before leaving, looking radiant in a sapphire dress. Serafina, always composed, offered to drive her to the restaurant. They left at 6 sharp. I expected them both back well after midnight, but at 9:30 p.m., the front door slammed so violently the frame shuddered. Serafina stormed in alone. Her face was tight, her steps clipped, her anger palpable. What happened? I asked, instantly uneasy. Nothing. I'm tired, she said, her voice brittle. Did you drop Alara off? No. She can take a taxi, she snapped, marching upstairs without another word. This was not my sister's normal temperament. Serafina was patient, calm, deliberate. But that night, she was all sharp edges and barely contained fury. The next morning, she was still cold and withdrawn. My attempts to get answers met a wall of vague responses. I told myself she must have had a disagreement with someone in the group, but the unease wouldn't leave me. On Sunday, she finally broke the silence. She sat me down, her eyes fixed on mine. Something happened Friday night. You need to hear it, she said quietly, but it's going to hurt. The heaviness in her tone made my stomach knot. Alara said things about you, she continued. Things she had no right to say. I leaned forward. What things? You don't want to know. I do. She took a breath. She mocked you. First about when you started dating, about your inexperience. Then she made a joke about something personal, about the curve. Her words landed like a physical blow. Something private, something harmless, turned into public entertainment. My confidence cracked. Why tell me this? I snapped. I'd have been better off not knowing. Because you deserve the truth, she said firmly. I left early because I couldn't stand listening to her laugh about you. I wanted to be grateful. Instead, shame burned in my chest. The following week was torture. I couldn't stop replaying the image of her laughing, surrounded by her friends. At night, I found myself Googling penile curvature, desperate for reassurance. I learned it was common, but the knowledge did nothing to dull the humiliation. By Thursday, I was desperate. I went to Serafina again. I need every detail, word for word. I'm going to confront her. Her face was weary. If you must, fine. But don't stay with her just because she was your first. I've watched you suffer over this all week. She doesn't deserve you. Her concern should have been comforting, but it stoked my anger instead. Maybe you shouldn't have told me anything. I shouted. Maybe I told you because I love you. She shot back, her voice shaking. Go ahead, run back to her. You two deserve each other. Tears welled in her eyes before she slammed her bedroom door. Moments later, loud music vibrated through the walls. Now I'd managed to alienate the only person still in my corner point 2 days later. I asked Alara to meet me for lunch. I rehearsed my words, but when a moment came, my courage failed. We returned to my place. Upstairs, Serafina's music thudded faintly, a constant backdrop to my hesitation. Alara, I began, my voice unsteady. I know what you said about me the other night. She barely reacted. That's it? That's what said you acting strange all week. I told her how deeply it hurt me. She scoffed. Look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said it. It was just a joke. Girls talk like that sometimes. She said it like it was nothing. Like I was nothing. And yet, something about the way she looked at me, not defensive, not apologetic, but almost amused, lodged in my mind that if she could make jokes about me so easily in front of her friends, what else had she said when I wasn't there? The thought wouldn't let go, and I knew, deep down, that the answer might be far worse than I was ready to hear. A cold, hollow weight pressed into my chest. This wasn't an apology. It was a dismissal, a flick of the wrist to brush away my pain. And then Alara asked the question I'd been dreading. How did you even find out? When you say things about someone to their friends, I replied evenly. It has a way of getting back to them. Her eyes narrowed. It was your sister, wasn't it? I knew it. I can't stand her. She's always so holier than thou. My anger flared instantly. Don't you dare talk about Serafina like that. She was looking out for me. Maybe you should have thought before saying those things in front of her. Instead of backing down, Alara doubled down. If she hadn't run her mouth, you never would have known. She thrives on drama. Why else would she tell you? Before I could respond, footsteps came from the stairs. Hey, Serafina's voice called, but when she reached the bottom and saw Alara, she froze. The air between them thickened instantly, sharp enough to cut. What the hell are you doing interfering in our relationship? Alara snapped, her voice dripping venom. Serafina blinked, stunned by the open hostility. Alara didn't stop. She unleashed a rapid, scathing tirade, accusing my sister of being a terrible friend and a disloyal confidant that I stepped in, trying to calm things, but it was like pouring water on a grease fire. The insults flew faster. Why aren't you defending me? Serafina finally demanded, tears pricking her eyes. Do you hear what this person is saying to me? How can you stand there and be with her? The word person hit like a slap. Not Alara. Not even she. Alara's voice rose again, but then she abruptly stopped. Her jaw tightened. I'm done here. She grabbed her purse and strode to the door. Wait, I called after her. She turned, and for a heartbeat we locked eyes. That was when the decision crystallized. This isn't working, I said simply. With the tension between you and my sister, I can't do this anymore. She froze, as if she hadn't expected it. I didn't give her every detail. I didn't need to. Her expression softened, wounded but resigned. We shared a quiet, lingering hug, and then she was gone. I found Serafina upstairs, sitting cross-legged on her bed, staring blankly at the wall. I sat beside her. I'm sorry, I said, for everything, for how she treated you, for not standing up for you sooner. She let out a short, bitter laugh. She was right. I'm an idiot who sticks her nose where it doesn't belong. No, I said firmly. You were right. You were protecting me, like a sister should. I ended it with her. Her gaze softened. You made the right choice. I hugged her, feeling her arms wrap around me with quiet relief. I'll make it up to you. I promised. The next few days were rough. Serafina was quieter than usual, retreating into herself. By Friday, I found her curled on the couch in old sweatpants, watching cartoons and eating chips straight from the bag. Her hair was unwashed, her usual spark gone. What's wrong? I asked gently. I thought you had a girls' night planned. Her eyes flickered with something between sadness and resignation. Not anymore. It turned out she'd been disinvited. Alara's influence was stronger than I'd realized. The entire friend group had sided with her. Years of shared memories gone in an instant. They unfriended Serafina on social media, ignored her texts, and ghosted her calls. I can't believe they'd do that, I said, fury rising in my chest. They were never real friends if this is how they treat you. She shrugged, her voice small. It's fine. I don't care about them. You're more important. Her words hit me like a stone to the heart. She'd lost her friends because she told me the truth. The guilt was crushing. What restaurant were you supposed to go to? I asked. She named the upscale spot they visited every week, a place that only catered to the city's elite. Screw them, I said with a sudden grin. Get dressed. We're going somewhere better. That night, I took her to a brand new, fine dining restaurant I'd been saving for a special occasion. White tablecloths, crystal glasses, and a view of the city skyline that seemed to stretch forever. The bill would end up over $200, but I didn't care that we talked for hours about anything and everything. We laughed over old memories, traded inside jokes, and for the first time in a week, Serafina's genuine smile returned. I looked across the table at her, my sister, my protector, the one who had risked her own peace for mine, and felt a deep gratitude that words couldn't capture that I'd lost a girlfriend. But I'd gained something far more important, the absolute certainty that family, when it's real, will walk in a fire for you, even if it costs them everything, And in that dimly lit restaurant, as the city lights shimmered outside, I knew I'd never forget the lesson Briarwood had taught me.